1940. Europe is engulfed in the flames of World War II. On the icy waters of the Atlantic, a new threat emerges, a leviathan unlike any other. The Bismarck, Germany's most powerful battleship, is launched, boasting unparalleled firepower and armor. It is a symbol of Nazi naval supremacy. But its fate will become one of the most dramatic naval stories ever told. How did the Bismarck go from the pride of Germany to the bottom of the Atlantic in just 9 days? The Bismarck wasn't just a battleship, it was a statement of power. Designed to outclass and outgun anything the British Royal Navy could field, it was equipped with 8 15-inch guns, reinforced with over 30,000 tons of steel, and protected by cutting-edge radar technology. Hitler believed it would dominate the seas, a dagger pointed at Britain's heart. But the Bismarck's journey would soon become a tale of ambition, strategy, and relentless pursuit. This is the story of the hunt for the German giant. In May 1941, the Bismarck set sail on its first and final mission, Operation Rheinübung. Its goal was to break into the North Atlantic and disrupt critical British supply lines. Accompanied by the heavy cruiser Prinz Eugen, the Bismarck sought to cripple Britain's war effort by sinking merchant convoys carrying food, weapons, and fuel. But the mission was far from simple. The Royal Navy was on high alert, and the Bismarck was entering waters teeming with British warships. Failure was not an option for the Germans, but neither was retreat. The stakes couldn't have been higher. If the Bismarck succeeded, Britain's already fragile economy could collapse. If it failed, it would mark a significant blow to German naval ambitions. The hunt for the Bismarck had begun, and both sides knew there was no turning back. On May 24, 1941, the Bismarck engaged in its first major confrontation, the Battle of the Denmark Strait. Facing off against the British battlecruiser HMS Hood and the battleship HMS Prince of Wales, the odds seemed evenly matched. But within minutes, the Bismarck's guns unleashed devastating power, hitting the Hood's ammunition magazine and causing a catastrophic explosion. The Hood, the pride of the Royal Navy, sank in mere moments, taking over 1,400 lives with it. It was one of the darkest days in British naval history. Yet the battle wasn't over. The Prince of Wales managed to damage the Bismarck, hitting its fuel tanks and slowing its escape. The Royal Navy's resolve hardened. This wasn't just a hunt anymore, it was a vendetta. The order went out: sink the Bismarck. The Royal Navy threw everything it had into the hunt for the Bismarck. Aircraft carriers, battleships, cruisers, and destroyers were mobilized to track the fleeing German giant. Despite its damage, the Bismarck maintained an impressive speed, using the cover of night and storms to evade its pursuers. British reconnaissance aircraft scoured the Atlantic, searching for any trace of the elusive ship. For the crew of the Bismarck, the pressure was mounting. Every hour brought them closer to either safety or annihilation. Meanwhile, the British were determined not to let the Bismarck escape. They had suffered too great a loss to allow the German giant to survive. The tension on both sides was unbearable. The hunt reached a critical turning point on May 26, 1941, when British reconnaissance planes spotted the Bismarck. The aircraft carrier HMS Ark Royal launched Swordfish torpedo bombers, fragile-looking biplanes armed with deadly payloads. Flying through fierce anti-aircraft fire, the Swordfish pilots managed to hit the Bismarck with a single, critical torpedo that jammed its rudder. Unable to steer, the German giant began circling helplessly in the Atlantic, sealing its fate. This was the moment the Royal Navy had been waiting for. With the Bismarck immobilized, British warships closed in. The hunter had become the hunted, and the German crew prepared for their final battle. At dawn on May 27, 1941, the Royal Navy unleashed its full might on the Bismarck. The battleships HMS King George V and HMS Rodney opened fire, joined by cruisers and destroyers. The Bismarck fought back with its remaining guns, but its damage and immobilization left it vulnerable. Shells rained down on the ship, tearing through its armor and silencing its weapons one by one. For over an hour, the German crew endured relentless bombardment. As the Bismarck began to sink, its captain ordered the crew to abandon ship. But for many, escape was impossible. Out of over 2,200 men aboard, only 114 survived. The German giant had met its end, but its legacy was just beginning. For the survivors of the Bismarck, the battle didn't end with the ship sinking. Many spent hours in the freezing Atlantic waters before being rescued by British ships. Their accounts painted a grim picture of the chaos on board during the final moments. Despite being enemies, the British sailors showed compassion, pulling as many survivors as they could from the water. The sinking of the Bismarck was a turning point in naval warfare, marking the decline of the battleship as the dominant force at sea. The age of aircraft carriers had arrived, and the lessons learned from this engagement would shape naval strategy for decades. The sinking of the Bismarck was a significant morale boost for the Allies. It demonstrated the Royal Navy's determination and ability to adapt to new challenges, even against formidable foes. The event sent a clear message to the Axis powers. No matter how powerful a weapon, it could be defeated with strategy, persistence, and collaboration. For Germany, the loss of the Bismarck was a devastating blow to its naval ambitions. It marked the end of its ability to challenge Allied control of the Atlantic, ensuring that vital supply lines remained open. The hunt for the Bismarck wasn't just a naval victory. For decades, the Bismarck lay undiscovered at the bottom of the Atlantic, shrouded in mystery. In 1989, oceanographer Robert Ballard, who also found the Titanic, located the wreck. The Bismarck was remarkably well preserved, resting upright nearly 16,000 feet below the surface. The discovery reignited interest in its story, offering new insights into its final moments. The wreck site revealed the incredible strength of the ship's construction, but also the devastating damage it sustained. Artifacts from the wreck provided a haunting glimpse into the lives of the sailors who served aboard the German giant. The sinking of the Bismarck was more than a single battle. It was a turning point in naval history. It exposed the vulnerabilities of even the most advanced warships, ushering in a new era of naval strategy. Aircraft carriers and submarines proved their decisive value, relegating battleships like the Bismarck to relics of a bygone age. For the Royal Navy, the Bismarck's destruction was a testament to resilience and collaboration. Despite setbacks, they demonstrated the power of persistence and ingenuity. For Germany, the loss was a devastating blow, signaling the decline of its ability to challenge Allied naval dominance. The lessons of the Bismarck's hunt are still studied today, offering valuable insights into warfare, leadership, and the human cost of conflict. For nearly 5 decades, the Bismarck's final resting place was a mystery. In 1989, oceanographer Robert Ballard, famed for discovering the Titanic, located the wreck. Sitting upright on the seafloor at a depth of over 16,000 feet, the Bismarck was remarkably preserved. Its guns still pointed skyward, a haunting reminder of its final stand. The discovery reignited global interest in its story, shedding new light on the battle and its aftermath. Exploration of the wreck revealed the extent of the damage inflicted during its last hours. The discovery also sparked debates about war graves and the ethics of salvaging artifacts. As researchers pieced together the Bismarck's final moments, its legacy continued to captivate historians, naval experts, and the public alike. The story of the Bismarck transcends its time, becoming a symbol of both the power and the limitations of human ambition. For Germany, it represented engineering excellence and wartime resolve, but also hubris and loss. For Britain, its destruction was a hard-fought victory, a reminder of the cost of resilience and determination. Over the years, the Bismarck has inspired countless books, films, and even songs, cementing its place in naval history. Its story is not just about a ship, but about the people who designed it, commanded it, and hunted it. As we reflect on the Bismarck's legacy, we are reminded of the fragility of even the mightiest creations and the enduring human desire to understand and learn from the past.
Thanks for watching, and subscribe my channel.